A city on lockdown. Helicopters tearing through the sky. Gunfire echoing in the empty streets. On that day, all of Mexico held its breath. The war against the cartels had reached the point of no return. These are the final days of the most feared drug lords in history. Tony Tormenta, the siege of Matamoros. When his brother was captured, Antonio Ezequiel Cardenas Guillen, known as Tony Tormenta, took command of the Gulf Cartel. His worst enemy, his own former enforcers, Los Zetas. With his personal army, Los Escorpiones, ex-police trained for war, Tony spread terror across northern Mexico. For months, the Marines hunted him relentlessly. Every time, he slipped away, shielded by armored convoys. But on November 5th, 2010, hell broke loose in Matamoros. 660 soldiers surrounded the city. Civilians barricaded themselves as buses burned across intersections and grenades exploded downtown. That afternoon, helicopters spotted his hideout. The assault was short and brutal. When the gunfire stopped, Tony Tormenta lay dead. His fall unleashed waves of revenge that would tear Tamaulipas apart. El Mexicano, the fall of the Emerald King in 1989, Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha, nicknamed El Mexicano, ruled over the Medellín cartel, but he made too many enemies. The government, the DEA, the FARC guerrillas, even his own allies. Betrayed by an informant, he was tracked to rural Colombia. On December 15th, 1989, 2 army helicopters swooped down. Gacha tried to flee, firing his submachine gun into the sky, but a burst from above hit him in the leg, then the head. 2 days later, 15,000 people attended his funeral in Pacho. The Emerald King was dead, but his legend was only beginning. Pacho Herrera betrayed in the shadows. In 1996, Helmer Pacho Herrera, one of the 4 Cali cartel bosses, surrendered to authorities. Calm, calculating, he managed operations behind the scenes, until rumors of a DEA deal sealed his fate. On November 6th, 1998, during a prison soccer game, an old friend, Rafael Uribe, walked onto the field. They greeted each other, hugged, and Uribe suddenly pulled a gun and shot Herrera 7 times in the head. The murder was fast and silent. Many believe Uribe was just a pawn used by the Norte del Valle cartel to send a message. Arturo Beltrán Leyva, the boss of bosses. Once loyal to El Chapo, Arturo Beltrán Leyva turned against him after his brother's arrest. Now a ruthless cartel leader, he lives surrounded by wealth, bodyguards, and death. In December 2009, after a lavish party in Cuernavaca, Marines tracked down his safe house. Over 200 soldiers, armored vehicles, and helicopters surrounded the area. For 90 minutes, the city roared with gunfire and explosions. When it was over, Arturo was dead. In revenge, his men murdered a fallen soldier's entire family, marking one of the darkest turning points in Mexico's drug war. El Señor de los Cielos, death under the scalpel. Amado Carrillo Fuentes, nicknamed the Lord of the Skies for his massive fleet of planes, built a $25 billion empire. Hunted by both the US and Mexican governments, he tried to change his appearance with plastic surgery. But on July the 4th, 1997, the operation went horribly wrong. An anesthetic reaction killed him on the table. The Juarez cartel plunged into chaos, and soon after, both surgeons were found murdered. That's when rumors spread. Was Amado really dead? Ramón Arellano Félix, the final shot. Leader of the Tijuana cartel's armed wing, Ramón Arellano Félix was pure violence. But on February 10th, 2002, fate caught up with him in Mazatlan. Stopped by a police officer for a minor traffic violation, Ramón opened fire. The officer, fatally wounded, shot back, killing Ramón with a bullet to the head. Some say it was no coincidence, that El Chapo himself set up the ambush. Whatever the truth, that single gunfight marked the beginning of the end for the Tijuana cartel. Francisco Arellano Félix, the Clown of Los Cabos. On October 18th, 2013, Francisco Arellano Félix celebrated his 64th birthday surrounded by businessmen and politicians in Los Cabos. A man dressed as a clown walked in, approached him, and shot him in the head at point-blank range. Panic, screams, chaos. The killer vanished, never identified. Some say it was revenge from the Sinaloa cartel. Others whisper it was an old debt coming due. Either way, that day, the past came to collect. Heriberto Lazcano, the ghost of Los Zetas. A former elite soldier, Heriberto Lazcano founded Los Zetas, one of Mexico's most brutal cartels. On October 7th, 2012, Marines received a tip. Armed men near a baseball field. A brief gunfight erupted. Lazcano was shot dead, but before the news broke, a heavily armed commando stole his body from the morgue. He was never seen again. Among Los Zetas, the rule was simple: no man left behind. Griselda Blanco, the queen without mercy. Griselda Blanco, known as the godmother of cocaine, turned Miami into a war zone in the 1980s. She invented drive-by motorcycle killings, ordered her husband's deaths, and made $80 million a month. After being deported to Colombia, she tried to live quietly until September 3rd, 2012, when a motorcycle assassin gunned her down in Medellín. Ironically, the woman who created that method of murder died by her own invention. Chepe Santacruz, the Bogotá ambush. Founder of the Cali cartel, Jose Chepe Santacruz. Londoño preferred bribes over bombs, but after escaping prison in 1996, he became a marked man. One day, a fake police checkpoint appeared on a road outside Bogotá. The Norte del Valle cartel opened fire. Chepe was killed instantly. It was the symbolic end of an era, the fall of the invisible kings. Nacho Coronel, the Crystal King. Nicknamed the King of Crystal, Ignacio Nacho Coronel ruled the meth trade. But after his son was murdered, he launched a bloody vendetta, killing 14 rivals in retaliation. On July 29th, 2010, the army raided his villa in Zapopan. Nacho fought back, killing one soldier before being shot dead himself. Inside the mansion, $7 million in cash, jewelry, and the ashes of his empire. Pablo Escobar, the last breath of the Medellín king. On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo Escobar hid in a modest house in Medellín. Tracked after a single phone call to his family, he ran across the rooftops, exchanging fire with police. A final burst, a last scream, then silence. The world had lost its most infamous criminal, and Colombia, its darkest nightmare. Over 25,000 people attended his funeral, many still calling him a modern-day Robin Hood. These stories aren't just about power and violence, they're about people consumed by their own empires. If stories like this fascinate you, hit subscribe, like, and tell us in the comments which cartel shocked you the most. And don't miss the next video appearing on screen. You're not ready for what's coming next.